What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Now, as y'all can see, man, got another story time. So this is, I don't even know what I want to title this. So this ain't the first time I got cheated on, but like this is like basically the first time I realized I was getting played. So give y'all a bad story. Now I can't. I'm gonna try not to give too many like personal details because like if you know me for a while, you can probably guess who it is, and then I don't want to. Me and that person kind of like I had conversations to where like settled now, like we cool. That person also, I find out that person also has a YouTube, so I ain't got time for nobody to be making videos and reactions and shit like that. But like, I gotta give y'all a little bit of backstory. So this is between like this happened like years and years ago, man. So at the time, this was like my first. This like I guess I'm gonna have to give y'all a little bit more details. If you know, you know what it is or whatever. But it is what it is. Like I said, if you watching this, if the person that I'm talking about is watching this, like I said, it's no hate, no nothing. It was just some video I had planned I wanted to do. So basically this happened when I was like, well, it didn't happen when I was 12, 13, but this is when I met the person. So give y'all a little backstory, make a long story short. So basically when I was like 13, I started dating this like my first girlfriend. I was 13, she was 12. She had just moved. She had just moved from like an hour away. She started like an hour away. She moved down here. Now we was end up like when I first met her. We met on Facebook. Uh, I didn't see she didn't have too many friends. I was going through her pictures. She only had like 5 or 10 likes, but she was like mad pretty to me. So I'm like, oh shit, like it was like finding like that diamond in the rough. Like, oh shit, ain't nobody trying to get on her, whatever, cool. I'm about to snag up on it, and then come to find out, we end up texting. She ended up telling me like, hey, you stay in such and such. I'm about to move down there. I'm like, oh shit, for real? Like, yeah, bet. So what happened is, I was going like we had like football workouts, and she was having basketball workouts, whatever. And like that was the first time we seen each other, like both of us at the practice. So now get this, like I said, when I first met her, well nobody she ain't had no really like she was just new. She was first of all she was new down here. Second of all like going like when she ain't really had nobody like on her socials like that. Now me being me, I ain't saying I was a popular dude, but I was well known within my city. Like I'm well known within my city. Like everybody somewhat either know of me, know somebody that know me, know of my name or some shit like that. Not no like nothing crazy like that. Like I said, I grew up here my whole life, so I don't damn near know somebody don't damn near heard of me or heard about me or whatever the case may be. So, and I say all to say that because like I said, then she was new down here, didn't nobody know her, whatever, man. We started going out, we was together. We was on and off from 7th grade, from when I was in 7th grade all the way to like my sophomore year in high school. It was always on and off, but it was like always like that was my first love, I was her first love, and shit like that. So it was always like it was toxic as fuck, but like on her side though. And I'm gonna get out the backstory why on that. So basically, yeah, so basically growing up, like after a while, like through 7th grade, man, it was straight. Like she was new, didn't nobody know her for. We was good. I didn't have to worry about shit. Like online, like literally, like everything was perfect. But after a while, we started going out. We started going to the mall, movies, stuff like that. People like, hey, who is that? Who is that? I'm introducing her to my friends, then they friends with, you with your home. Like say you with your girl, you see your homeboy, he with his little crew. He with this dude, this dude, this dude. So I'm introducing her like, hey, this my dog, such and such. And I'm like, who you is, bro? Like, hey, oh, what's up, bro? This my girl, this and that. So now all of a sudden people started adding her. She get like I would remember vividly being on the phone with her. And she would be like, "Hey, you know who such and such is?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I think that's. Oh, boy, we cool. I'm cool. And yeah, you can accept your friend request. You can." She like, "Oh, what about him? What about him? What about him?" And then she got to a point like, "Hey, just accept them all. Like I eventually I probably know who it is. I heard them. So yeah, like stuff like that." But I remember vividly she would always be like, "Hey, such and such send me a friend request. Such and such send me this." And me being me, I ain't think nothing of it. I was like, oh yeah, that's my dude, that's my partner, I know him, I heard of him, he cool, whatever. Now, with that being said, it was like I was kind of, I was kind of like putting her out there to like basically like everybody was like, oh shit, that's, and it was like, I ain't gonna lie, like at the time I didn't know it, but after a while, after years went on, I ended up finding like dudes was telling me like, hey, bruh, it was a point in time niggas was trying to talk your girl, not because they actually wanted her, they was attracted to her, just because they knew that was your girl and that you was dating her. So it was like, oh, that's Jay girl. I might pick myself on. I might try to take his girl, or I'm texting his girl, whatever. It was shit like that, but it's funny now. Like that shit, like it's just silly to me, but end up years later, I end up finding that out. But yeah, that's basically like a little backstory on like how like she basically, and I want to say this in the best terms. I don't want to be rude, but she basically let like other niggas, and it was on me though. But it was on me though. Like she let other niggas get in her head and hyping her up. Like now all of a sudden, like when I met you, you been having like 5, 6 likes on pictures. Now I don't introduce you. We don't been out. Everybody know you now. Now you getting 70 likes, 80 likes, 100 likes, and this back in like 2013, 2014. So you know, you're a female. You get like 120, 130 likes on Facebook. Like that's damn near like today. You getting like 30, 40,000 likes on Instagram. It's like, oh shit, I'm popping now. So it was kind of like that. So so basically fast forward. This happened like I want to say my freshman year. Now, with this being said, for I ain't gonna, well, this is her preface, but she always been attracted to older dudes. It was like, I'm getting y'all, now we get to the story. She always been attracted to older dudes. Like I said, I wasn't that much older than her. Like I said, I was only a year older than her. But yeah, she always been attracted to dudes. I remember, she would give me like slight hints. She would say that like, I was like older dudes. I like more mature dudes. She was very mature for her age, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. But she would always say I like mature dudes, whatever. So to get to the story time, so I told y'all we was on and off. Like this is my freshman year. So after like 7th grade, it was good. 8th grade, we was straight, and then like in the 8th grade, it kind of tell her thought she would be like, you know, I want to take a break. I just want to. We still young. I still want to, you know. Like she would always say, like we still young. I think we should take a break. I feel like we just like hovering each other. Like we don't talk to nobody else. Whatever. It was somewhere on that line. Like we basically need a break, and we just need to be young and live our life and shit like that. And I ain't think none of it. Like I said, this is my first love. This is my first really girlfriend. So I was like, okay, I guess that's what relationships about. Now, like I said, she was very mature for her age, so she kind of knew what she was doing, in my eyes, looking back at it now. So, basically, like, it would be, like, times, like, once that happened, that situation happened, like, she would literally just block me off of everything. She would block my number, block me off of social media, and I would, like, then she ended up moving to a different school, which basically moved the next city over, which is, like, another 10, 15 minutes away. It wasn't far. From where she was from, which was like an hour away. She just moved like 10, 15 minutes away to another school. So after that, I didn't really see her much, and on top of that, I can't see you in school. You got my number blocked. I'm blocked on social media, so I can't get I can't get a hold of you. But she would do that, and she would block me for like a month or 2 at a time, and then randomly I get a phone call just like, "Hey Jay, how you been?" I'm like, "Who's this?" She's like, "Oh, it's me." I'm like, "Oh shit, hey, like, what's up? Where you been? Like, what's the situation with us and this and that?" And she like, "Oh, I want to see you, this and this. Oh, can you hit me to get this? I'm trying to do this." Or it would be like little shit like that. Like, "Can you hit me pay for this? Can I borrow this? Can I get this? I want to see you. I want to hang out with you. Let's go get something to eat." And me being just so stupidly deeply in love, I was like, "Yeah, like, I would do anything I can to spend time with you, or whatever." And like, I would just fall for the shit. And we'd hang out, or say she needed something, I'd give it to her, and then we'd talk for another day, and now I'm saying I get ghosted for like another 2 months. Now, with this situation right here was, same thing happened. She called me out of the blue one day. It was like I think it was like a Friday night or something like that. It was a Friday night, she called me. She was like, "Hey, how you been? This and this. What are you doing tomorrow?" I like, "Nothing. I ain't doing nothing tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. I ain't got school, nothing like that. I ain't doing nothing tomorrow." So she was like, do you mind if we hang out tomorrow? Like, you ask your mom or somebody like that. You ask your mom, can I hang out with y'all tomorrow? Because she said something along. It was like my mother's going back home like an hour away. She said like where she from was like an hour away, and she like, I don't want to go back down there. I ain't really trying to be down there all dang day, like, and shit like that. I'm like, cool. I talk to my mom, see whatever, we can hang out. Now throughout this whole time, I'm telling my mom and family members that, yeah, we still together. Yeah, we still good. She just, I would make her look like little lies or whatever, like, oh, her mom just a little strict, or she just trying to focus on school, or she got this going on after school, and she got this on the weekends. She go home back on the weekends and stuff like that. That's why we ain't been hanging out. Like, when she would ghost me, that's what I would tell my my mama, whatever, and my like grandmother and stuff like that. So basically, I told my mom. She said, yeah. So basically, my mom, like, at the time I wasn't living with my mother. I was living with my grandmother. But my mom came and got me. We went to her house and picked her up, and then we drove back to my mom's house. Now, my mom probably stayed like 5 to 8 minutes. No, I ain't gonna say 5 to 8. Yeah. About 5 to 8 minutes away from her. And my mom stayed about 10, 15 minutes away from her. So basically, my mom stayed like up here. She stayed like right here. And I stayed like right down there. Like, it was like literally like a straight down, like, all based on this one main road, damn near, for real. So it wasn't like it was a long drive or anything like much of a hassle or whatever. So basically, we ended up hanging out. My mom's ended up coming get me. We ended up go get her, go up to my mom's house, whatever. And at the time, my little sister, she was probably maybe 2 years old, something like that, 2, 3 years old. So basically, my mom says, like, soon we walk in the house, like, first of all, my mom, after we picked her up, we went to the mall, which is like 2 minutes away from where my mother stayed, and we went to go got something to eat. So when we walked in the house, my mom was like, hey, my friends called me. They said they wanted to go out and this like that. You mind watching your little sister? Y'all stay here while I go out. He's like, cool, bet. So my sister was already asleep. First of all, my sister was asleep. So it was like, cool, I ain't got no problem that my sister sleep already. So my mom ended up getting dressed, leave within the next 20 minutes. So basically, me and her, we chill, whatever. We laid down, we talked, we ate. We talked about, damn, we just lay on the couch and just talked for like 3-4 hours. Like, talked about family, kids, what we would name them, marriage, where we want to stay at, what we want to do with our careers, what we see ourselves at, and like, we just had like this deep ass conversation. And of course, we kissed and hugged and laid down and cuddled and all the other shit and watched the movie or whatever. But like, yeah, we just basically really talked for like 3 hours, like 2-3 hours straight or whatever. So basically, my mom comes back. It's like 10 o'clock at night. So my mom comes home, whatever. And I remember vividly her telling me, like, her remember like kind of begging me, like, hey, ask your mom, can I spend the night? Ask, can I spend the night? Can I spend the night? Can I spend the night? Now, my mama being who she is, like big on church or whatever, she wasn't going for that. I knew she wasn't going for that. Cause at the time I was like, I remember it being late. I remember it was like it was past 11 o'clock at night. So I was like, maybe she might go for it. Maybe I say, hey, I'm gonna sleep in the other room, and she can sleep in the other room, and I sleep in the living room. Maybe she'll go for it. But I asked her, she ain't go for it. But I remember her begging me, saying, can I spend the night? Can I spend the night? And I'll leave in the morning. Cause like I said, she don't stay no like 5-6 minutes away from my mother's stay. So we ended up taking her home that night. And then the next morning came, I spent the night at my mother's house, but the next morning came, and I remember, I think she left like her phone charger, or a phone case, it was something like that. It was something small. It was something like a case or a charger or something like that. Or like a bracelet or something she left. It was something like that. So I remember the next morning, we go to her house, I called her like, hey, I'm outside, here to drop it off, because I had texted her as soon as I woke up saying, you had left this. So we take it to her house, whatever, we drop it off. My mom takes me back home, like, now, this was like at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, we drop it off. So my mom takes me back home. I'm still a little tired, because like I said, we was up to like 11, 12 o'clock at night, texting on the phone, whatever. So I get back home, I go to sleep. Now, around about like 4 or 5 o'clock, no, I wake up at about 12, 1 o'clock. I'm calling her, I'm texting her, but her phone, like, ain't ringing. Like, it's sending me straight to voicemail. Now, she was never big on charging her phone. So she was the type of person, she would take her phone out, charge it in the morning, and literally be gone all day, like literally be gone all day. Whether she'll be with her mom, they'd be driving around the city, or they'd go back home like an hour away, and she would never like charge her phone. So like it wasn't really like surprising like it was going straight to voicemail. I was like, oh, maybe her phone probably dead. So I just call her later tonight when she get back home and charge her phone. So about 5 o'clock, randomly, like this never happened, never ever happened. My grandmother comes to wake me up and say, hey, did you want to go to the store right quick and buy you like some shirts or whatever? So I'm like, yeah, cool. Now this is like, when I say like, this one, it was like, looking back, like, even at the time, I kind of realized, I was like, bro, this was like God sending me a signal. Because usually my grandmother, like, she don't have like multiple surgeries. She was getting a little older. So she would always give my mother money. And she like, you mind taking Jay, go get something to eat? Or take him shopping, whatever. I got a little money for him, whatever. But just like randomly, she was like, nah, I'm gonna take you shopping, whatever. Let's like, you want to go shopping, whatever, get you some shirts, whatever. So like I said, it was crazy because, like I said, this one I was like, it was kind of like a message from God or whatever, because usually she would just give my mother the money and this and that. So basically, we ended up going to like, back then, this was we like, I don't say everybody, but like me and my group of friends, anytime we wanted to go find like just some fire-ass shirts for cheap, we would go to see the Trends, which was like probably like 7 minutes away from my house, like 7-8 minutes away from my house. So we ended up going to see the Trends, whatever, and like I remember my grandmother looking for a parking spot, and I remember seeing her mother's car. Her mother had a very distinct car. I don't know if her mother still drive the car now, so I ain't gonna say what type of car it was, but like it was a very distinct car, and it had like these distinct rims on it. So I was like, oh shit! I'm like, oh shit, she here. Like I said, oh shit, I'm about to see my girl, whatever. Like I said, I had just seen this morning, and I was hung out with her all day yesterday. So man. So what happened was, we get out the car or whatever. So it was me, my grandmother, my little sister. So I remember I remember my grandmother getting out the car, and I remember my grandma was walking up, but I had to stop and I had to tell my little sister shoot. But my grandma, she was walking in the store, whatever. She was walking ahead of us. So my grandma walking ahead of her. My grandma's like basically like already in the store or whatever, and me and my sister walking up. So as I'm walking in the store, it's like they got this little booth or whatever in front of the city Trends or whatever on the like left side, and the door's on the right. And I'm holding my sister's left hand, and I'm reaching for the door, but I remember my sister just darted off, and she like tapped this couple, like it was a couple at this booth, like this tall, like blind skinned dude, and it was like this little skinny girl, whatever. So I remember he taps this girl, like I said, my sister darts off and go tap this girl, and she started tapping on her, and she said, hey sister. Now at the time, at the time my sister couldn't really pronounce her name or whatever. Like, she had like, I ain't gonna say it was hard, it ain't hard to pronounce, but like I said, for a 2-3-year-old, she really couldn't say it. So I was like, you know what, just call her sister instead, like I said, cause like I said, at the time, this is your first love, you think y'all gonna last forever. So I was like, hey, this is gonna be your sister-in-law, so this is gonna be her sister-in-law, so you might just call her sister for now, since you can't say her name. So she does something, she's like, hey sister, and I remember looking at my little sister, I'm like, why did she just call her that? And I remember I looked at the dude, and I looked at the girl, and I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm looking at her, I'm like, but she kind of like glanced, like she got her head turned to the side, but it ain't all the way facing me. It was like I was standing right here, and she was like this, but she didn't want to like kind of look up at me. But I know she saw me though. And I remember I grabbed my little sister, I was like, hey, come on. And I remember I walked in the door, I let my sister walk in first, and I remember looking at her, and I'm just like, oh wow. I'm like, that's what I'm saying to my head, like, I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, and then I remember as I'm walking, I'm like, dog, I'm like, I would go out there and dress her, but it's like this how crazy I was in love. I was like, I don't want to go out there and address her, and then my grandmother found out that she with another dude, and she like, oh, you can't hang out with him no more, you can't come to my house no more, that shit dead, cause that's how my grandmother is. Like, I knew if I would have told her that she was like with another dude, there's no way I was gonna ever see her again. So I'm like, damn, I can't tell my grandmother, and I can't make a scene because I don't want to go out there because I know what that gonna lead to. And I'm like, I still want to see her. Not only did I still want to like, I want to say, like, mind you, we just had a 3-4 hour conversation, laying on the couch eating Chinese food, talking about our whole future for 3-4 hours straight, less than 24 hours ago. And on top of that, it's like, damn, like, I've been, like I said, you the only female I done been with for the past going on 2.5 years now. So all that in my head, then at the same time, it's like, bruh, even if that shit over with, I still want to see you again to have a real conversation with you about this shit. So, man, basically, like, I think they end up walking in the store, but I think they was only in there for like a second, and I guess she probably said something to her, and they went out and they went to another store. Now, all I'm thinking is like, damn, that's your mother's car. I know you didn't drive your mother's car, so that means your mother knew you was with me all day yesterday, and still came here and knew you was another dude, and like that. To me, that was like, it was like, damn, y'all really some fucked up individuals. That shit like broke me. It was like, damn, cause I'm like, man, I thought her mother was cool. And this, mind you, when her mother used to come drop her off at my house, she would always tell me. This one I said, like, bro, they was really on game, man. Her mother would come. Her mother would tell Jay, I can't. If I'm gonna drop you off over there, he gotta give me some gas money. Mind you, I'm 14, 15 years old. You a grown woman asking for a teen for money, for gas money. That I've been in a relationship with your daughter for going on 2 years now. And this would happen before we even like really was like even like together for real, for like when we were just with like the first few months, and after a while we started hanging out. Mind you, my mother never asked her for gas money, never asked her mother for gas money or nothing like that. But it was like, dang, you only stay like 7-8 minutes away from me, and I gotta give your mama $10, $15, $20 for gas, and that's back then. That's when $20 would fill up a tank. So, well, man, that's just a whole backstory. But it was like, damn, your mother knew you was just with me all day yesterday, yet she still brought you to be here with another dude. And then saying, like I said, I've been calling your phone for the past 5-6 hours. So it's no telling what this shit I've been doing all day and how long y'all been together all day. Now, this is where the toxic shit come in there. If y'all think that's crazy, man, this is where the crazy shit come in there. So, mind you, we end up leaving. I don't think I got nothing. I was just like, mentally, I was so gone. So we end up leaving. We go back home, and I remember I'm blowing up her phone, man. I'm blowing up her phone from cause I think I was calling her from block. I was blowing that shit up. I was so heated. I'm like, bro, hell no, I need some answers. Now at the time, I think her phone was probably really dead at that time, but either she just turned it off. So around about 10, 11 o'clock at night, I get a call from her. So she ended up calling me. She was like, hey, whatever. She was like, I see you been calling me, whatever. And she was kind of act like she was like fake sleep. And I knew she was fake sleep because I had been around her even after that. Even after all this situation, I ended up taking her back, and literally like one time we hung out. I ain't gonna make a video on that. I'm just tell y'all a quick story. One time we ended up hanging out after this situation. I remember we was outside chilling, laying down on like we had like one of those long ass like beach chairs. And I remember she literally the same dude I'm talking about in this video that she was with, mind you, the dude was like 19, 20, she was 15. Niggas weird as fuck. Niggas weird as fuck. But that's another story. But he ended up calling her while we was hanging out one day after this situation, and I remember she was like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna call you later tonight." Like I remember she played it out for good. She really needed to be an actor. But get back to the story. So she ended up calling me like 10, 11 o'clock that night, acting like she was asleep or whatever. And I'm like, fam, you saw me saw you with dude. Like, why you acting like you sleep or whatever? I'm like, fam, what's up with you and dude? Like, bro, that's fucked up. I'm telling her, like, bro, you was just with me all day yesterday. We did this. We talked about this. Like, it was like, I was just going on and on. And I remember her ass, like, whatever, like, the shit I said, it woke her ass up all the way. Because she was like, oh, who said we was back together? I never said this. I never said we was in a relationship. You never asked me back out. You never said we was together. We never had a conversation about being together. I'm like, nigga, I would think me spending, I'm like, fam, you telling me spending all day with you, us laying down talking for 3-4 hours straight about our future, that didn't give you no signal that, hey, we possibly back together, right? You know that, right? Like, and it's not like I ever broke up with you. It's not like we ever broke up officially. You just keep ghosting me every now and then, like every other month. So I'm like, fam, what are you talking about? And she's like, you never said we was together. You never said this. I never told you I was your girlfriend. I'm like, and that's when I realized, bro, like, this is the most toxic shit ever. But it was like, at the same time, man, after being, it was like, bro, this go for anybody, man. Fuck how long y'all been together. Because that was my whole mindset. Like, bro, I'm not about to throw these 2-3 years down the drain. I'm about to get over this shit. There ain't no way. I ain't got time to start back over with nobody else. I ain't about to have these same, like, go through them little phases or whatever in the early rush. Like, bro, I ain't got time for that. Like, I'm not about to throw these 2-3 years down the drain. And I'm telling y'all for advice. Fuck how long y'all been. I don't care, y'all been together for 2 years, 10 years, 12 years, 5 years, 8 years, 6 months. Like, bro, if it ain't it, it ain't it. Once you catch that red flag or, like, whatever your breaking point is, once you get to that point, bro, leave. Fuck how long y'all been together. Fuck all the other shit, bro. That's my advice. But yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. I know it's pretty long. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all again.